Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. Recently, we passed the 4-year anniversary of me uploading videos to this channel, and I've already made a video to celebrate that, but I wanted to make a second one to celebrate that. And by that I mean going back to the roots of this channel, what sort of made it and what has kept it up for 4 years, and that is checking in on the straights. Are the straights okay? That is the foundation that this channel was built upon. And so today I wanted to just have a look. Let's dive into some hetero cringe, checking in on the straights, seeing how they're doing. We've done this, I don't know how many times, a bunch. And they've never been okay to date, and I doubt today is going to be any different, but that's what we're doing. Checking in, seeing if that's changed. One day maybe it will. Only one way to find out, and that's to keep doing it. So that's what we're doing today. But before we get into it, I would like to say a massive thank you to today's patron of the day, Isabel. I appreciate you and your support so much. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you enjoy this video. And if anyone else would like to become Patreon, you go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. It starts at as little as £1 a month, and I appreciate anything greatly. Let's get into the cringe. Okay, we have this tweet that reads, "If my wife can't do my laundry, then I'd rather marry a fellow man, because then we'd have a lot of interesting things to talk about, like football, etc." I'm obsessed with only being able to come up with one thing that you find interesting, and it's just football. You're like, at least if I married a man, we could talk about interesting things, like football. That's it. That's the only thing I care about. Football. For one, some women like football, but that aside, men can do laundry. You should be able to do laundry. Getting married specifically so someone can do your laundry is so absurd. It's just quite absurd. I think that the thing is that we can probably all do your laundry. It's just that, like, we shouldn't have to do your laundry. You should really be able to do that for yourself as an able-bodied adult. You should probably know how to do your own laundry. It's just a skill you should probably have. And if that's like your number one priority in a relationship, then yeah, maybe you just don't like women. If the only thing you think women are good for is like doing things for you and serving you, then maybe you don't like women. Maybe you should just marry a man. If you view women as servants and men as people to have connection with, then yeah, leave women alone. Go marry a man. We will gladly leave you alone. This is a t-shirt that says WIFE. Washing, ironing, fucking, etc. Along the same lines as that last one. My God, making wives into nothing but servants is just like such a sad, sad thing. It's so sad to do. And like, it's even sadder when the women go along with it and think it's funny. Like the internalized misogyny and the way that you're like laughing it off, like, haha, yeah, you only love me because I do things for you as a joke. It's like not very funny because like it's not entirely a joke, is it? Like, I don't know about you, but jokes usually come from some sort of real place, you know? That's kind of what makes them funny, is like relatability and connection to it and like the way you agree with it. And so like you aren't making these jokes if you don't at least partially draw it from reality. And if you are so openly making a joke about how wives are only good for washing, ironing, fucking, and other things along those lines, we have a problem. We have a problem. If this is all you view your wife for, don't get married. Don't be in a relationship. Instead, get like a housekeeper and then have like casual hookups or like go see a prostitute or something. I don't know. But like, I don't think a wife is for you. You should really be caring about, I don't know, emotional connection and intimacy, whether that be like physical touch or like emotional intimacy, and just like caring about each other. Those are like the really most important parts of a relationship, I think. If you don't have those things, it's not really a relationship. It's just service. It's not, like, you're missing out, man. If that's what you want, you're missing out on like the best parts of relationships. And it's so sad that people settle for it because like, You deserve so much better than that. Find someone you actually enjoy spending time with. That's my advice. This is a small child wearing a t-shirt that says Big Sister, doing like a pregnancy announcement for their parents. So they're sitting on like a kitchen bench with like a mixing bowl and like they're making things. And the recipe is on a board and it says, recipe for a new baby, 1 cup of kisses, 2 cups of hugs, 3 cups of cum. Bake until June 2021. The absolute grossness of putting a small child involved in like the hypothetical idea of her making, like baking using cum, which is disgusting. Never, ever, ever imply that. Ever. Keep those two things like really separated. Like a child and the word cum should not be in the same like that conversation, the same image, like keep them apart at all times, please. Also, like medically speaking, I think you should go to a doctor if you can produce 3 cups. 3 cups? Do you know how much that is? Are you like conceptually aware of how much 3 fucking cups is? That's 3/4 of a liter. That's like a large drink bottle. 3 cups? If you are producing 3 cups of cum, please seek medical advice. But yeah, regardless, overall, aside from the fact you probably need to see a doctor for 3 cups worth, please get your kid out of this. It's just gross. Everything about it is just really, really gross. Here we have a headline about Bluey that just says, iconic children's show Bluey makes history with show's first LGBTQ plus characters. And I watched this episode and it is literally just they're sitting in class and one of the kids says, my mom's told me he might come back. So he just references having 2 moms in one line in the whole 30-minute episode. One line. And this person tweeted, they want to destroy everything good and corrupt your children. First it'll be subtle and then the LGBTQ plus parents will be regularly featured characters. And it's like, and? Fucking and queer parents exist. If you have a child who is in school, this is something they are likely going to hear. Like most everyone will go to school with someone who has gay parents. Like it's just gonna happen. Your child is going to be exposed to this because gay people exist and gay people have kids. So the chance of your child sitting in class and having someone next to them say like my mom's or my dad's is like relatively high. So putting it on TV is just a normal thing. Like your kids are gonna see it in real life, so they're gonna have it reflected on TV because TV is like a reflection of real life. And if those parents are now featured, who fucking they're 2 moms. So what? Your kids are gonna know people who have 2 moms. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. TV shows for children are made to like allow kids to understand the world around them. They exist to learn and to experience things for the first time and to like go out into the world and not be scared about things. It's teaching you lessons. And if you are deliberately hiding parts of the world that are not harmful, then like you are hurting those children because they are not expected for things. It's like, it's just reflecting what's gonna be heard in real life and you need to get over it. So next up we have that like really the classic meme of Anakin and Padme where it's like him asking a question and it's like a close up on her face and she's like, to do this, right? Right? Like that one. We all know the meme. But this is an AI-based meme instead. And so it says, I've learned to edit images by AI for increasing the quality, right? For increasing quality, right? And the images of them are AI edited. And like Anakin's face, I don't know what the fuck they did to it, but he looks real fucked up. He looks real fucked up. But the main problem with this that is the focus is in the final panel, they just completely changed her body to objectify and sexualize her by giving her like really massive boobs and like putting her in like a top that's just like spaghetti strings and like triangle bare coverage. And I just, why? Just literally just why? I do not understand why you need to sexualize everything. Why do you feel the need to edit people's bodies to make them more sexually appealing to you? Why is just like existing not enough? And like even on top of that, right? Like Natalie Portman is fucking beautiful. The dress that she's wearing in this scene is fucking beautiful. Like she looks stunning. But it's obviously not enough to look beautiful. You have to be an object of sexual desire in order for it to be good enough and appealing to these men, right? Like, this scene does not exist for you to sexualize her. People do not exist for you to sexualize them. Women, we are not here for you to like manipulate our bodies so that they are sexually appealing to you. Because that's not what we exist for. If you want to see someone who looks like this in a sexual context where you can sexualize them, there are places you can go for that. There are places you can go where there are consenting women. There's no consent here. No one gave you permission to do this. She did not give you permission to modify her body and sexualize her. Learn to keep sexual things to sexual concepts. The fact that these men have to go out of their way to edit scenarios into being sexually gratifying for them shows that it really is just about power, and it's about not wanting consent. It is about manipulating people and about taking power, because like you can find images like this that exist consensually on the internet. Like that exists there. But you have to go out of your way to take a woman's body and change it to fit that for you, because it makes you feel powerful, because you like that you were able to modify someone's body so you can look at it and make it look a certain way for you. Like this exists already. Don't take people's consent away just because you can. It's real fucked up. It's so, like AI and the way it can modify bodies and the things that it is able to do is so, so scary. And we've seen so much of it already. You don't need to edit bodies because bodies of all shapes and sizes exist. And there are women in sex work of all shapes and sizes. And you can find that. It's there. Take it consensually. Don't do this. I cannot imagine logging in online one day to find someone having done that to my body. Like the level of violated I would feel if I were to encounter that. Oh, it's horrible. People are just horrible. Leave women alone. Leave people alone. Don't fucking sexualize non-sexual situations. It's really simple. Here is a tweet from Gays Against Groomers, and it's another AI-generated image, and it says, "Why do all of our haters look like this?" And the image is, as I said, AI-generated, and it's a bunch of largely, like, fat people with, like, colorful hair looking angry, and they're not, like, conventionally attractive. All just going, "Rah!" And then signs in, I don't know if that's a real language or if they're just random letters that were generated on a sign. Doesn't really matter that much. And there's a few things. One, if this is what all your haters look like, why did you need to AI generate the photo? If this is true, why can't you show me an actual photo? Like, this is seeming like it's trying to imply this is what, like, Pride looks like, based on the fact or like a protest for queer rights, which I guess is Pride. Like, but this is not a photo of Pride. This is not a photo of a protest. This is an AI-generated image. So clearly, that's not a reflection of what your haters look like. This is not a reflection of what we all look like. And then on top of that, even if it was, what does that prove? What does that matter? How does the way other people look impact their argument? Like, if you cannot hold your ground and make your point without going in and insulting people and how they look, you've lost the argument. If the only thing you can retaliate back to people telling you that you're a bigot is like, well, yeah, but you're ugly. Like, you've lost. And this goes from both sides. In an argument, whenever it turns into, well, you're ugly, well, you're this, and it's like, well, suddenly it seems like you don't actually have any beliefs or any way to further defend your point, and you've lost the argument. This is a paint shop, and there's a sign at the paint shop next to the samples that says, "Notice, husbands choosing paint colors must have a signed note from their wife." And listen, I know it's a joke. I get it's a joke. But like, come on. Come on, please. Everyone is capable of making their own decisions and giving their own input. And I can't tell where the dig is here. Is the dig saying that men can't choose paint colors, like they're bad at interior design? Or is it saying that wives are controlling and won't let men make decisions? Or is it both? I can't even tell who the dig is at here. One of the biggest things in like straight culture between like married couples is just the infantilization of their husbands. And granted, they infantilize themselves a lot, so it's not really unwarranted. But it is way too normalized and turned into such a joke. And this is such an infantilization of men. And like, it just needs to stop. We need to stop. Men are grown adults. Married men are grown adults. They have to take responsibility and act like grown fucking adults. We need to stop encouraging it. This is the pros of a robot wife. Never ages, never smells, doesn't get fat, works with 100% efficiency to make you happy, doesn't turn into a psycho once a month, will never cheat on you. Robot wife could also be good for home defense, can do chores for you, never complains, always wants to fuck when you want and fulfill every one of your fetishes, never initiates any drama, can own as many robot wives as you can afford, will make men want to work harder. Long battery life thanks to fuel cells, completely customizable during ordering process, robot AI learns about you to be your best possible companion, can only improve over time, easily replaceable. Cons, none. Hey, I've got a pretty big con here, and that's that they're not a person. So you can't develop any emotional connection to them or have an actual relationship. And it's so concerning to me, the amount of men who are just like, I just want someone to serve me and do things for me. It's so sad, and I said this at the beginning of the video, but it is so sad to have like human connection being the lowest priority of a relationship, because that is the best part of a relationship. I am not asexual, right? But I would rather have a deep, like, romantic relationship with someone with no physical intimacy than I would to have a relationship like this where it's like someone who just serves me and like I have a sexual relationship with them. Like, that's the least important part. The emotional connection is the most important part of a relationship. And it's astounding to me how many men don't think that. Learn to look after yourself. If you are an able-bodied adult, you are able to do all of these things for yourself. And being in a relationship just means you get to share that with someone. You like share the weight and you help each other and it feels lighter. You don't give everything and they don't give everything. You like meet halfway. And that's what makes it work so well, is that you share your life. And that's like a beautiful thing. You don't just constantly take. That just seems like such an unfulfilling life to live too. Like, I don't get that at all. I can't imagine being someone like who just wants to take and never give. That just feels so empty. Having a relationship, or not even a relationship, but like living a life where it's all take, no give. How is that enjoyable? I just don't get that. Here is a little comic of an old man with a younger woman going into a jewelry shop. And the jewelry shop man says, "Can I interest you in some jewelry today?" And the old man replies, "Yes, I'm looking for a special ring for my girlfriend. Here's one for $5,000. I don't think you understand. I want something very special. Here's a stunning ring at only $40,000. We'll take it. How will you be paying?" "By check. I know you need to make sure the check is good, so I'll write it now and you can call the bank Monday to verify the funds. I'll pick up the ring Monday afternoon." Monday morning, the jewelry man calls and says, "There's no money in that account." And he replies, "I know, but can you imagine the weekend I had?" Lying to women to get them to sleep with you is not okay. You can't build relationships, even casual ones, off of a lie. It's like really skirting on the line of consent when you lie in order to get someone to hook up with you. And I know that you can sit here and be like, well, she's a gold digger, like she's using me for my money, but like, you know that, and you're taking advantage of that. If you are aware of the intentions of this interaction and it's effectively set up like, I will buy you an expensive ring and we'll go out, like that's a transaction that you've set up. And if you are unable to follow that through after it's something that has been established, then you've lied in order to have sex with someone. And that is not consensual. And I feel like this is a really blurry line that we like cross way too much, and it's joked about way too much. Like, it's such a common theme in like TV shows and everything as well. Like, it's everywhere. Lying to women to sleep with women is not okay. Giving your body to someone, being intimate with someone is not like a small thing. Like, it can be casual and it doesn't have to be a big deal, but like, it is intimate, it is very personal. And then doing that and finding out you've been lied to is just a very uncomfortable and gross feeling. And it's not consent. Daniel Day-Lewis ended his 6-year relationship with Isabel Adjani via fax when he found out she was pregnant. I'm sorry. There is just something so fucking funny about breaking up with someone over fax. Fax? You broke up with someone over fax. That's fucking hilarious. It's horrible. Obviously, don't get me fucking wrong. But fax, imagine like the way that I can imagine this playing out. That's like really horrible, but really funny, is being on the phone with her and she's like, tells him she's pregnant and is like having this conversation about like, I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to keep the baby, blah, blah. And while she's on the phone, she's hearing this like sound. She looks over and she's got this fax printing and it just says, "We're done." As she's on the phone to him. Terrible. Don't break up with people over fax. Don't break up with people when they're pregnant. Like, here is a screenshot of a TikTok that is a mother and a father and their 5 daughters and their like newborn son. And their daughters seem to be aged like, I don't know how to tell the age of children, like what, like 2 to maybe 10, maybe 11? I don't know. But they're all young. None of them are teenagers. They're all under teenage age. And the text reads, "How many extra little mamas does your baby have?" Please, fuck all the way off with that. Your kids are not free babysitters. They're kids. You look after them. If you cannot handle looking after 6 kids, you shouldn't have had 6 kids. It is not your older children's responsibility to look after your younger children. It's not their job. You can't pass that off on them. And I feel so bad for the oldest daughter here, because we all know about oldest daughter syndrome. I made a video about oldest daughter syndrome a while back now, and I know for a fact that it is going to be hitting this girl so hard. I know that her parents go out for date night or whatever and leave her in charge. And you shouldn't have to like sacrifice so much of your own childhood to raise siblings who should be raised by their parents because your parents decided that they could keep having kids because they had someone to pass the responsibility to. Like, it's not your child's job to raise your children. It's your job. If you cannot handle having 6 kids, don't have 6 kids. I also find it so astounding in the States that like there are no age rules on how old you have to be to babysit. And like, that's astounding to me. Like, you can be, in most states, you can be left home alone at like any age and you can babysit at any age. I've heard about people babysitting when they were like 10. When you were 10, you need a babysitter. Back in New Zealand, you have to be 14 to be home alone. Like, if you are under 14, you need a babysitter. And a lot of the time that doesn't really happen. Like, when you are usually from the age of like 11, 12, you'll come home and be home by yourself after school for like a few hours until your parent gets home from work. You're not technically allowed to do that, but that typically happens. But you definitely wouldn't be babysitting at that age. You have to be 14 to be home alone. And then they have like 10-year-olds looking after their siblings while their parents are out, like at nighttime. That's astounding to me. That's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. I cannot imagine leaving a 10-year-old at home by themselves, let alone leaving a 10-year-old at home looking after younger children. Like, that's a child. You cannot expect a child to look after children. A child cannot even look after themselves. And it's astounding that you would put that on a kid. Anyway, your children are not parents. They are not co-parents. They are children. Let them be children, take some responsibility, and be a parent. Next, we have a tweet from the transformed wife, someone we absolutely love on this channel, don't we? And she says, schools feminize boys by making them sit in chairs most of the day, reading, writing, and things girls enjoy. Boys need to run, jump, create, and build. They are built differently than girls. Schools were made for girls, not boys. Bring your boys home and let them be boys. And then the replies say, so true, boys just aren't cut out for education. Let them focus on what they're better at, like physical labor, while girls take care of the rest of it. I find this so fascinating based on everything, but like the transformed wife's values are that women shouldn't have jobs. They should stay at home. They should be keepers of the home. They should have children and then look after their children. They should cook and clean and serve their husbands. That's a woman's role. School is a waste of time. She is actively just against school in general. So this is quite interesting to me, being like, send your girls to school, when she's actively just anti-school. And then here saying boys shouldn't be sitting in chairs because that's feminine. They should be doing nothing but physical labor and like sports and things. So who does all the other stuff then? Who does all the other sitting stuff? There's a lot of labor that exists that is not manual labor. There's a lot of jobs that involve sitting at desks and not doing much moving and doing a lot of maths and doing a lot of writing and doing a lot of typing. And boys aren't allowed to do that. They're not allowed to learn how to do that at school because that's too feminine. So they're not allowed to do that. They have to do the manual labor. And girls also are not allowed to do those jobs because women are not allowed to work. And it's a waste of time telling them to work. They need to be keepers of the home. Who are doing those jobs? Are those exclusively for non-binary people? Is this you accepting that non-binary people exist? So the three genders are manual labor, office jobs, and keeper of the home. Those are the three genders. School is for the non-gendered children. That's the solution that we've come to here. This take makes no sense. I do love the absolute hypocrisy these tradcons have. It's so funny. Like, not just tradcons, just all bigoted people, really. They have so many conflicting opinions, and like whichever one is going to work for whatever point they're trying to make that day is what they'll say. And it just means nothing ever makes any sense because everything they say contradicts another thing that they've said. And this is such a great example of that. This one is really funny to me. This is a tweet and it's two photos of Sydney Sweeney side by side. And it says prefrontal development comes at you fast, Sydney Sweeney. So it's her at 26 and her at 25, trying to show that like between that 1 year, you just fall apart. You age so badly. You change. You get ugly. And it's fucking hilarious because the photo of her at 25 is like a photo shoot, professional photo. She's like got makeup on, she's had her hair done, she's posing, and it's done with like a professional camera. Clearly very set up, very posed. And then the photo of her at 26 is her like coming out of the ocean, like captured off guard by like a paparazzi. And the funniest thing about it though is that like it's not even a bad photo. Like she still looks really fucking good. And I'm just really confused by it because she literally looks exactly the same. Like, I usually find these ridiculous and stupid, right? Because the off-guard beach photos are such a common thing and they pick out the most ridiculous things and they like take bad photos and then they focus on like really small, just naturally human things. But I can't even see the things they normally pick on in this photo on the left. Like, they're usually ridiculous and meaningless anyway, but like she still has like really like perky breasts. She's got a flat stomach. She has no cellulite showing. Her skin is clear. Like, she doesn't have any of the standard flaws that are picked on. They don't even exist here. And they're not even flaws. They're never a problem. They're never something to pick on or like focus on or call ugly or unattractive. And they still don't even exist in this image. So I'm like, extra confused by it. I don't see even a slither of like what they could possibly be pointing out the issue as. One where she's wearing makeup versus one where she's not. And these are the same people who are like, I don't like a woman in makeup. I like a woman all natural. And then sees just a photo of a woman looking natural and being like, that's disgusting. She looks fucking stunning in both of these images. She is fucking gorgeous. And I'm baffled. I'm baffled. This is the same woman so clearly with no changes at all other than professional lighting and makeup. Baffled. Just say you don't like women. That's literally all you have to do. Just say you don't like women and carry on. And here's one final one that's kind of similar to some of the others. It seems to be a common theme this month of I couldn't resist. I had to fix this. Happy birthday, Aloy. And it is a video game character called Aloy, and they have edited her face and body completely. So this is the character that like when this game came out completely blew up because, you know, she looks like a person, like a regular woman who exists, and everyone was calling her ugly and was like, she has hair on her face, look, she's got peach fuzz. And then it was all just people on the internet being like, say you've never seen a woman without saying you've never seen a woman. It's that character. And so they took her and what her original design is, and then they edited her, they yassified her. So they gave her like a real face. Like it kind of looks like they cut out a face from a magazine and put it on her. And then put her in like just a bra top and gave her big boobs that are like pushed up. And I just find this so boring. Why do you need every woman to look exactly the same? Like that's so boring. I don't get in general why men feel like women owe them beauty. And it's not even just beauty, it's just their really small idea of what beauty looks like. And like everyone has a different idea of what beauty is, right? Everyone has sort of a different concept of what is attractive to them. And so many men think that every woman have to fit their specific idea of what beauty is. And it's like, it's baffling to me. I just don't get why you live in a world where you think women owe you attractiveness. You don't have to hook up with every woman. You don't have to be attracted to every woman. We don't exist to be aesthetically pleasing to you. We just exist to exist. And if you don't like the way I look, newsflash, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't impact you. Like at all. And it's a video game character too. Like just leave it alone. How attractive a video game character is like the least important part of the game. It's fucking weird to me that people play games because they think the character is hot. And like the game lose interest if the like character isn't hot. You play the game for the story. You play the game for the game. You're not playing it because you're sexually attracted to the character. If that's why you're playing the game, play a different fucking game then. Like, you clearly don't like the story that much if you feel like you have to change the way a character looks to enjoy it. Like, just play a different game. Get over it. Let women have faces. Let women exist. Let women have representation in the media they consume. Like, not everyone has to be beautiful to you, okay? The world doesn't exist. Like, women don't exist to be attractive to you. The media and, like, women in media and cartoons, etc., like, they don't exist to be attractive to you. That's not the purpose. Not everything exists for you to get off, you know? It's like kind of like the least important part of life, really. Like that's the lowest levels of people's concern is what turns you on. So like it should really be at the lowest of your concerns too. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I think that we can decidedly say that the straights still very much are not okay. And yet thank you everyone for sticking around for 4 years now. It's been an incredible time, and I'm excited to keep going and see what happens. I appreciate all of your support, like, so much. It's been a wild ride. It's very up and down all over the place. I've never been both more stressed and more content in my life. It's a really weird mix of things. This job is incredibly stressful and incredibly emotionally exhausting, and yet I, like, wouldn't change it for anything. So I am incredibly grateful. I appreciate like all of your support so much. This is what I wanted to do for forever. I started my YouTube addiction at about 9 or 10, you know, I've like lived on this platform for a really long time. I decided when I was like 11 that I wanted to do two things. I wanted to be a YouTuber and I wanted to make music. And I do both technically. I haven't released music in many years, but that's because YouTube fills so much of my time. I just like don't have the time to make music anymore. But I'm working on that, and I will hopefully be able to get more music eventually, and then I'll really be living the dream. But right now, the fact I've been able to do this for so long and maintain it for so long is like so incredible. And I hope that I'm able to keep doing this for absolutely as long as I can. In order to help me be able to keep doing this for as long as I possibly can, I would so appreciate if you did subscribe if you aren't already, and interact with my videos, leave a like, comment, share, etc. I appreciate it like so much, as well as becoming a patron at patreon.com/savvycat. It starts at as little as £1 a month. You get my videos a day early and a bunch of other perks for £3 and up, and I appreciate all of your support there greatly. Speaking of, a massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. I genuinely am like forever grateful for you, and I appreciate all your support no matter how big or small it may be. I appreciate each and every one of you. And my Kiwi Cat patrons, Bobby, Josh, Mandy, Ikazel, Jessica, Eldo, Danielle, Raven, Elias, Chris, Samuel, and Knitting Menace. You are all so incredible, and I'm so grateful for all of your support over however many months you have been here. Some of you have been here literally since the start, and I like cannot fathom how much that means to me. So yeah, I appreciate you all greatly. Thank you so much for all of your support for all this time, and here's to many more years, hopefully. Yeah, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.
When you close your eyes